Aaron. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Hi, Jim. Shabbat Shalom.
I first suggested you're fired, you would say you're excommunicated. They thought that was they decided that was too harsh. So now I was thinking maybe I could clean my room. Do you think it works? If you think it works, I'll do it.
We could talk about it.
All right.
I don't know.
I mean, it's just like it's like an insult to you. Like I say, it's my congregation. You say it's my congregation. Then I say, well, guess what? Blah 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 blah. And you say, oh yeah, blah 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 blah. And then it's over, basically. And they come in and break us up. And then
I think that's fun.
Rabbi Bronstein says something like, actually, it's my congregation.
That I didn't see.
I suggested that last time, but they laughed, so maybe they'll do it.
That I didn't see. I love that.
I like that.
I love that.
I mean, you know that would get a big cheer.
I love that. That's really sweet. Very fun. Cool. Awesome. Sarah, it's good to see you. You too, Yonatan. I'm missing a cantor. She probably went to Starbucks. Thank you. Yeah, for me, yeah. Thank you. Oh, what a mess. So sad. So sad. Oh boy. Cantor, cantor, cantor. At the very end. It's here.
Okay, cool.
See?
Awesome.
Okay. Is your volume off?
Yeah.
All right. Well, friends, Shabbat Shalom. It's good to see you. Welcome, welcome. I hope everybody's staying warm and taking good care, and we're glad that you folks are here. We're going to start our service tonight with our handouts. Hopefully you picked one up along with a prayer book, and if you open it all the way open to the right side, you will see Olam Chesed Yibaneh, about how we're going to build a world, and this world needs our strength and our love, and to bring it out, there's a lot of work to do. So let's take a breath and mark this, our inclusion-themed Shabbat, with this prayer.
Olam chesed yibaneh, yadadai, yadadai, Olam chesed yibaneh, yadadai, yadadai, Olam chesed yibaneh, yadadai, yadadai, Olam chesed this world from love. Yadadai, yadai, yadadai, and you must build this world from love. Yadadai, yadai, yadadai, and if we build this world from love, yadadai, yadai, yadadai, then God will build this world from love. Yadadai, yadai, yadadai, I will build this world from love. Yadadai, yadai, yadadai, and you must build this world from love. Yadadai, yadai, yadadai, and if we build this world from love, yadadai, yadai, yadadai, then God will build this world from love. Yadadai, yadai, yadadai, yadadai, yadai, yadadai, yadadai, yadai, yadadai.
Again, we wish you a Shabbat Shalom. Let me share a couple of things before we move into our service. First of all, lots of us have gotten used to the idea of some being on land and some being online. So for our friends that are online, we welcome you. Welcome you to YouTube. And we have another friend who's going to be a virtual greeter this Shabbat. So Crystal Ekman is going to be helping with chatting and helping build some connections, even for our friends that are online. And if you want, everybody will be able to see the chat, but if you wanted to participate and wish each other a Shabbat Shalom online, you'll have to subscribe. You have to log into a YouTube account. Otherwise, you'll just be able to follow along. This Shabbat is going to be focusing on some of the themes from one of our teams in the congregation, our Disability Awareness and Inclusion Committee. And we're going to be talking a little bit more about some of those themes and opportunities as we explore the power of belonging. And we've been having a conversation about that for a couple of years now. COVID has, for many of us, reset some of our thinking about what does it mean not to be a member, but to belong in a community, and how do we build a community of belonging. And so that's going to be a little bit of our theme tonight. We'll tell you more as we go along. 120 in our prayer book. We are going to invite some friends to light our Shabbat lights. Remember that if you have a prayer book that is a little bit lighter and it says Shabbat on the spine, or one of the large print ones, you're going to see two different page numbers. You'll follow the page number in blue brackets. If you have a nice, thick, heavy book, then it's just one page to follow, page number to follow, and we'll promise to bring you along. 120, and we are going to invite Joel and Kai, Ash, Barbara, and Jack. If you folks, it's really just Ash and the rest of his family. If you folks would light our Shabbat candles. 120 is the blessing, friends. One of you has to light the candles. Amen. Thanks, friends. Shabbat Shalom. We're going to ask you to please rise if you are able. We continue on 123 with our Kiddush.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'ratza banu. V'shabbat kodsho, v'ahava uvratzon, hinchilanu. Zikaron למעשה וראשית, כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. כי בנו בחרת, ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים. ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. אמן. לחיים.
So you may be seated, and before we continue, I'm going to ask you, if you would indulge me just in this one act, if you would turn to a neighbor, someone you do not know, and share your name. Introduce yourselves. One person you haven't met before. Lovely. Lovely. Now we can turn 138. L'chadodi. We welcome the Sabbath bride into our midst. We continue with the first 5 stanzas. After the 5th one, we jump to the very last one. When we reach that 9th stanza, our custom is to rise, if we're able, face the open doors in the back of our sanctuary, welcoming the Sabbath bride into our midst.
Yalla la 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 l'chadodi, yada da 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 likrat kala, yada da 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 panei Shabbat nekabe, yalla la 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 l'chadodi, yalla la 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 likrat kala. Yalla la la la, panei Shabbat, nekabela. Shamor vezachor, bribor echad. Hishmianu el ham yochad, Adonai echad. ושמו אחד, לשם הוא תפארת ולתחילה. יאי לי לי, יאללה לה 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 l'chadodi, יאללה לה 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 לקראת כלה, יאללה לה 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 פני שבת לקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי היא מקור הברכה. מראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. יאי לי לי, יאללה לה 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 l'chadodi, יאללה לה 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 לקראת כלה, יאללה לה 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 פני שבת נקבלה. מקדש מלך, עיר מלוכה, קומי צאי תוכחך רב לך שבט במקבך והוא יחמול עלייך נגלה יאי לי לי יאללה לה לה לי לחד אותי יאללה לה 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 לקראת כלה יאללה לה 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 פני שבת נקבלה התנערי מעפר קומי לבשי בגדי תפארתך עמי על יד בן ישי בית הלחמי קורבה אל נפשי יהלה יאי לי לי יאללה לה לה לי לך דודי יאללה לה 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 לקראת כלה יאללה לה 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 פני שבת נקבלה התעוררי התעוררי כי באורך קומי אורי 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 שיר דברי כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה יאי לי לי יאללה לה לה לי לך דודי יאללה לה 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 לקראת כלה יאללה לה 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 פני שבת נקבלה בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה גם בשמחה וצהולה תוך אמוני עם סגולה בואי חלה בואי חלה יאי לי לי יאללה לה לה לי לך דודי יאללה לה 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 לקראת כלה יאללה לה 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 פני שבת נקבל יאללה לה 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 לך דודי יאללה לה 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 לקראת כלה יאללה לה 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 פני שבת נקבלה.
Let's be seated. 142.
Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון, ממלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. שלום עליכם, שלום עליכם, מלאכי השרת, מלאכי עליון, ממלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ברכוני לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. שלום עליכם, שלום עליכם, מלאכי השרת, מלאכי עליון. מי מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש, הקדוש ברוך הוא. צאתכם לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון. מי מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. שלום עליכם, שלום עליכם, מלאכי השרת, מלאכי עליון. מי מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש, הקדוש ברוך הוא.
146, we rise if we are able.
Yai la lai 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 lai. Yai la lai lai yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 yai lai 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 lai. Yai la lai lai yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 yai lai 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 lai. Yai la lai 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 yai lai lai. ברכו את אדוני המבורך, ברוך אדוני המבורך, המבורך לעולם ועד. המבורך, המבורך לעולם ועד.
And 149. This is an hour of change. Within it we stand uncertain on the border of light. Shall we draw back or cross over? Where shall our hearts turn? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, my friend, or cross over? This is the hour of change, and within it we stand quietly on the border of light. What lies before us? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, my friend, or cross over? Baruch atah Adonai hama'ariv aravim, 152.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Va'en. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Va'en. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
May be seated.
ואהבת את את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
Let's read together on 157. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together. Let's turn the page.
Who is like you, Adonai? Who is like you, Adonai? Ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya da 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 da, ya la da da da, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya da 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 da. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nehedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osei pele, nora tehilot osei pele. Who is like you, Adonai? Who is like you, Adonai? Ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya da 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 da, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya da 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 da. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nehedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osei pele, nora tehilot osei pele. ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
Amen. 161 and 160. We go back and forth. We start on the left.
Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Hashkivenu, Adonai Eloheinu. Hashkivenu, leshalom. V'ha'amidenu, shomreinu lechayim. Ufros aleinu, zukat shlomecha. Hashkivenu, Adonai Eloheinu. Hashkivenu, leshalom. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms.
164. We rise again if we're able.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi agitei latecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, El Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei HaKol, Zocher Chasdei Ahavot Ve'imahot, Umevi Geula Livnei V'Neham, Leman Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Bezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayei hakol atah Rav lehoshia. Mashiv haruach u'morid Hashem, Mechalkel chayim bechesed, Mechayei hakol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim verofei cholim, Umatir asurim, Umechayim emunato.
Umido melach, melech mimit umechayeh, umatzmiach Yeshua, v'ne'emanata lachayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai, mechayeh hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, Kedoshim b'chol yom yaluch hasela. Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh. Let's be seated. 173. Let's read together. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day, and may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. We turn to Shalom Rav 178.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech Adon lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech Adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov beinecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam.
Let's take some time for our own personal prayer, our own reflections or meditations. If you'd like to follow a reading and reflect upon some of these words, you can look on 179 or 181. Choose any reading you like and take a moment for yourselves. We'll come back together again shortly in the middle of 180. Adonai Tzuri Ve'gohali Ve'gohali. As we continue to move forward, we're going to take a look into these handouts. And we'll see in Misha Berach all the way, when we open it up, all the way to the right side, our prayer for healing. But also in that middle column, lots of names that are shared with us, folks that are in need of some prayer, some strength, and some love from us. And we hope that you'll take some of their names, all of their names, as well as ones that we might be sharing in this space together. If you'd like to share a name out loud, or just kind of keep it close to your heart, this is our time to lift up some of those other folks, their names, and we'll come together in a prayer for healing and wholeness and blessing. So if you're named to share, let's say them all together. You'll see Misha Berach, the last line, El na rafana la, El na rafana lo, El na rafana lanu. Moses cried out, El na rafana la, please God heal her, when he was talking about his sister. But the la is for her, the lo is for him, lanu is for all of us. You can choose whichever one you'd like.
Misha Berach,
Misha Berach,
Avotenu, Bekor HaChaim,
Bekor HaChaim,
Ve'imotenu, Hu Yivarech, Ve'yirapeh, Et HaCholim, El narefana la, El narefana lo, El narefana la, El narefana la no, El narefana la, El narefana lo, El narefana la, El narefana la no. Misha Berach, Avotenu, Bekor HaChaim, Ve'imotenu, Hu Yivarech, Ve'yirapeh, Et HaCholim, El narefana la, El narefana lo, El narefana la, El narefana la no, El narefana la, El narefana lo, El narefana la, El narefana la no.
So each year, we designate one of our Shabbatot, one of our Sabbaths, to conversations around inclusion. And we've been doing this along with lots of congregations over the course of whether it's a February or a March, for many years now. There's been lots of congregations that talk about a Jewish Disability Inclusion Month. And then it expanded to Jewish disability and acceptance and inclusion. And we've had lots of conversations about chronic illness and mental health. And more recently, the last few years, we have been having other conversations about what does it mean to be a community of belonging. I think belonging is so much bigger and vaster than just inclusion. We used to have conversations about making sure that people would be welcomed here. But welcoming people doesn't always mean that they feel welcomed. And once they are in and maybe can feel welcomed, well, maybe they feel included, but don't exactly have a sense of ownership or citizenship within the community. Belonging is so much more than having a seat at the table. It's a feeling like this is my table and I belong here. So belonging is way different than membership. We're not talking about membership. That's old school. We're talking about what it means to belong. And we have a great teacher who is going to share a little bit of her story and how she feels about belonging and community. And many of us know her and her family, and I'm delighted to ask Sarah to come forward and share your words. No, this isn't her bat mitzvah. Been there, done that. This is a whole new message, and we're looking forward to hearing your words. All right.
Before I get started, I would like to take a moment to thank Rabbi Green and the Inclusion Committee for inviting me to speak tonight. I'm really honored to be here. I've been going to Hi, my name is Sarah Moline. I've been going to Har HaShem since my baby naming with Rabbi Bronstein herself. I went to Kaitanat Har HaShem for many years. I had my bat mitzvah here. I've been a madrika since 2019. I'm an occasional Torah chanter. My mom is Diana Lane. My dad is Yonatan Moline, and my sister, Aviva Moline, lives in Boston. I'm a second semester senior at Boulder High. I love cooking. I just came from musical rehearsal where we're doing Mary Poppins this year at my school. I absolutely love theater. I also have a huge collection of stuffed animals. Any more where that came from? Stuffed animals. They comfort me and they make me feel like I have a sense of wholeness, and they make me feel because I can cuddle them. When I was 3, I got diagnosed with 9P minus. Now, you might be wondering, what on earth is 9P minus? 9P minus is a rare chromosome deletion occurring 1 in every 50,000 births. It happens when genetic material gets lost at conception, at the P or short end of chromosome 9. There are many different names for all the different types. The type I have is called Alfie syndrome. My Alfie syndrome affects me in many ways. One of these is my ears are extremely sensitive to loud noises, unless it's my noise. Another thing is when I'm learning something or talking to someone, I'll say what, but it's not because I didn't hear them, it's just because I didn't process, because my brain moves a lot slower than people typically expect one's brain to work. I also have ADHD as a result of my Alfie syndrome. One of the things I struggle with is spatial awareness. I also struggle with handwriting due to my dysgraphia. I have hyperflexibility, which means that some of my joints can overstretch, causing pain. In my freshman year of high school, I went to St. Louis with the Har HaShem Youth Group, otherwise known as BTY, for a North American Federation of Temple Youth NIFTY convention. While there, or really while anywhere at any time, this could happen, but this is just one example. I sometimes get overwhelmed by too many people, too much stimulation, too many questions being asked, and too many bright lights. This makes my brain shut down one function at a time. Then I curled up in a corner and I started to cry. My friend Orly tapped my shoulder and quietly said, "Hey, do you want people or should I tell them to give you space?" "Tell them to give me space for a minute," I said. "Then if I'm still upset, then they can come and talk to me quietly." "Okay," she said. This made me feel included because people like her checked in on me and found out exactly what I needed. And there are also many times in my life where I did not feel included. For example, that's how I felt in my 8th grade health class. The teacher was good, but he just didn't know what to do with me. One time, he had given a big multi-step instructional set. another thing that I struggle with. Then, after a full minute, he came over to me and he said, "Sarah, what's the holdup? Get started. Don't just sit there." And I replied, here's the thing. I heard you. I just didn't process. Can you explain it again so I can process better?" He said that he had already explained it once and he wasn't going to explain it again. "Figure it out," he said. Okay, I said. I sat there, stone cold, glued to my seat, his voice echoing in my head like an army command. His eyes stared at me, not blinking. I could smell his coffee breath, and it did not smell good at all. I swallowed hard, blinked back the tears, and finally I was saved by the bell. Thank goodness. Har HaShem is a place where I often feel included. For example, I've met some of the most amazing people here of all ages. An example of this is my chavara. It's a group of families mostly that I've known since I was 2 months old. And every time I hang out with them, they always brighten my mood, and I wish that we could hang out together a lot more, because whenever I'm around them, I don't know how to explain it, but I'm just different because I have that sense of belonging and because I have the sense that I'm included. They see me for me and they love me for who I am unconditionally. However, there have been some times, although it's rare, where I haven't felt included here at Har HaShem. One of these times was because of my dysgraphia, which is dyslexia for handwriting. I had to have a one-on-one madrika throughout Sunday school. A madrika is a Sunday school assistant. So whenever there was a writing assignment, I would dictate, and they'd write down exactly what I said on the paper. But the downside of this was because, as I had that, the other kids were hesitant to approach me because they had the wrong assumptions, like, oh, she's too shy, or she's nonverbal, etc. So, you might be wondering, what can you do to help me when I need it? Here's how. Step 1, assess the situation based on where I am, what's going on around me. The biggest red flag is when I step away suddenly for an extended period of time from the group and I'm alone, curled up. Step 2, touch the back of my hand gently, use a calm voice and say, "Hey Sarah, do you want people here or do you want to be alone so that you can process?" Step 3, wait a full minute for me to respond. This may take a while. Just because I don't verbally respond doesn't mean I didn't respond at all. For example, if you give me 2 options, you hold up 2 fingers, and I tap the second one, that means that I want the second option. If I say I need space, come back in 5 minutes and ask whether I'm ready to rejoin or whether I need to talk more. Whether you have a physical disability or an invisible disability, or whether you just have a hard time connecting with people, for whatever reason, inclusion is extremely important because sometimes all somebody needs is an invitation or a check-in or a hug or just someone to talk to. Because of that, I have a sense that I belong because of who I am, not because I have a cute haircut or whatever. That sense of acceptance is a feeling like no other. Once again, I would like to reiterate what I said earlier. Thank you to Rabbi Green and the Inclusion Committee for inviting me to speak here tonight. You all have been so helpful. You've seen me at my best. You've seen me at my worst, and any time in between. Shabbat Shalom.
You're a rock star. You're awesome. So proud of you. Look, people are standing for you.
Oh my God.
Who else needs tissues? We're okay. We have something else to share before we move forward, but one of those things about belonging that we've been talking about is how do you create a brave space? We can't guarantee a safe space. But when we saw somebody today who is brave, who is willing to be open and honest and vulnerable, have all of us share in that vulnerability, learn from her, and she's a good teacher. And that, it can't just be that we appreciate her words. It's that we have to take them into ourselves and figure out how are we going to not just listen, but learn from her and take that into our lives and try and create more and more and more of those brave spaces. Courageous, amazing, vulnerable, safely vulnerable spaces. We invite you to look in the handouts.
I've been looking for an excuse to teach you all this version of Shalom Rav by Alana Arian. I know you're very attached to the Shalom Rav we do every week. There are others out there. This is one of them. And one of the things that attracted me to Har HaShem was the word strive in the vision statement about striving for inclusivity, because it's the realization that it's a thing we have to work at every day. It's not something we are finished with. And so I think these words are pretty self-explanatory, and it's a prayer that I hope that we can continue to work on every single day. So here's how it goes. Make for us a house for all people. Gather us in hope for all people. Surround us in peace for all people, in wholeness and in love. Let's try that. Make of us a house for all people. Gather us in hope for all people. Surround us in peace for all people, in wholeness and in love. Beautiful. The next part is Shalom Rav. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Beautiful. Make for us a house for all people. Gather us in hope for all people. Surround us in peace for all people, in wholeness and in love. Shalom. and hope for all people surround us, and peace for all people in wholeness and in love. Beautiful.
We rise if we're able. 586, the bottom paragraph in the Siddur. We move toward the conclusion with Aleinu L'Shabeach, 586 at the bottom.
Aleinu L'Shabeach Ladon HaKol, Latei Gedula Liotzer Breshit, Shelo Asanu Kegoyei Haratzot, Velo Samanu כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש
588.
שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסר ארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגובהי מרומים. הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום והשבות אל לבביך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת אין עוד. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
May be seated. Zichronam livracha, may their memories be for a blessing. If you are observing a yahrzeit, the anniversary of one's death, or if you are in a period of mourning, we invite you, if you choose, to rise for a moment, share the name of the one whom you are remembering, and then we'll continue with additional names from the community. Rabbi. We also remember in the period of Shloshim, those first 30 days, Bill Diamond, the brother of Patricia Diamond Murphy, Raisa Wexler, the mother of Juan Wexler, and Paula Weiner, the grandmother of Stephanie Rubin. Those yahrzeits that we recall for this week that has passed: Eileen Margolis Kassin, Ann Goldstein, Arlen Ambrose, Benjamin Dreyer, Bertha Rubin, Bill Kessler, Charles Salzhauer, Clara Medoff, Clyde Onyet, Donna Rothfeld, Edith Sinnell, Elaine Adler, Jean Marsh, Gloria Weitzman, Harold Rothman, Henrietta Gilbert, Henry Gorman, Herman Hyman Stein, Jacob Kander, Jacob Gilbert, Jay Phillips, Jetty Schwartz, Joseph Passat, Laura Fisher, Lawrence Fultonberg, Lena Marbach, Lillian Flaster, Mark Nelson, Mark Eisenberg, Mary Elizabeth Johnson, Mildred Bernstein, Patricia Schwartz, Paula Kaiser, Paula Zaido Banks, Peter Schultheis, Rabbi Samuel Blumenfield, Richard Close, Rashawn Abrams, Rose Sanders, Suzanne Friedman, Suzanne Meyer Perlman. Kaddish is on 598. Our custom is to stand together as we support those who are mourners who need to say a Kaddish this Shabbat. And that way, in a symbolic way, we kind of hold each other up when we might feel a little bit weaker. 598. Yitgadal, V'yitgadash, Shmei Rabbah, V'yalma Divrach Hirutei, V'yamlich Malchutei, V'chayechon, V'yamechon, V'chayei Dechol Beit Yisrael, B'agala U'vizman Kari V'meru, Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mevarach Le'olam Olmei Amaya, Yitbarach V'yishtabach, V'yitpa'ar V'yitrumam V'yitnaseh, V'yitadar V'yit'aleh V'yitalal, Shmei D'Kodesha Berechu, Le'ela Min Kol Berchata V'shirata, Tush Berchata V'nechemata, Da'amiran Be'alma, V'meru, Amen. Yehei Shlama Rabbah Min Shemaya, V'chaim Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael, V'yemeru, Amen. Oseh Shalom B'mromav, Hu Ya'aseh Shalom, Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Ve'al Kol Yoshvei Tevel, V'yemeru, Amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn, comfort to the bereaved here and everywhere. Let's all say Amen.
Amen.
We can return to our seats. A couple of things just to share. There are some folks that have been involved and engaged with our inclusion, our disability and disability awareness and inclusion committee. And they have brought some materials for us that are outside. If you didn't get a chance to pick them up, we hope that you'll be able to do so. For our friends that are online, Crystal, I believe, has posted the links for those same documents so that you can see them as well. And Crystal, we want to thank you for being our virtual greeter and helping out, trying to offer some connections to our friends that are online. I want to thank Sarah. I want to thank Sarah for being brave and for coming into this tent, even if it's closed on the sides during the winter, to share your truth and to help us be better. And we're grateful for that and for your courage in doing so. We have in this little handout something else. In order to strengthen this idea of belonging, sometimes we're not really sure what that means. Some of us are having conversations about what it might mean. And here's an easy thing that some folks are thinking about. A place of belonging is a place where folks can be noticed, named, known, and needed. Should I do it again? Noticed, I notice you, I see you. Named, what's your name, right? That's why I make a fuss in the beginning so often. What's your name? Known, tell me something that's true for you. And needed, sometimes when we're not showing up for a while, it's nice to have somebody give a call. It can't always be us. But to give a call and say, how are you? Where are you? What's going on? Everything okay? Noticed, named, known, and needed. So we're going to try a little something out. On the back of this little handout, you'll see under the information about Purim, yay Purim. I tried to have another surgery, but they wouldn't let me. So Purim, by the way, is Monday. So you'll see Shabbat discussion questions. We're going to ask you at the end of our service, once we go out there, we'll make a motzi. We're going to ask you to take this with you. Pick a question and maybe encounter someone you don't know so well and ask one of those questions. So it's going to look something like this. Hey, Cantor,
Hey, Rabbi.
how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I have a question for you.
Oh, go ahead.
What is one thing you appreciated or liked about the service tonight?
I really appreciated learning from Sarah what works and what is helpful to her at different times.
I think that's really neat. And I similarly learned that instead of always assuming that I know what to do, maybe I should, even if it feels awkward, I can ask and maybe find out what somebody might really need or not need from me.
Awesome.
It's really nice having this deep conversation, Cantor.
I know. We should do it more often.
We should do it more often. So that's what it looks like, and that's what... And you have these questions. You can come up with your own, too. Then they're on the back of the handout. For now, 180 will conclude our service. We invite you to bring the prayer books back when we're done. We'll make a motzi together in the lobby. There are chairs in the social hall, and you'll be able to maybe encounter someone you don't know and ask a question.
Oseh shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru, amen. Yai lai 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 lai. Shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru, amen. Yai lai 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 lai. Shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru, amen.
Shabbat shalom to you. Wish your neighbors a Shabbat shalom. Come, we'll make a motzi. Don't forget your handouts. And maybe meet somebody new and ask a good question.
Cool. My battery died.
That's all?
That's what happened,
Okay.
yeah.
Cool. Hey! She's not here tonight. Yeah? Do you want to ask me? Is it like details? Planning? Oh, yeah.
Maybe.
Is that at the same time?
My battery died in my thing. Can you hand me that one?
We set it up before we knew that the Purim thing was happening. So we're going on with the Rosh Chodesh thing, and you have to just figure out where you want to be. You have a big